Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tracy, and today I just want to take a few minutes to talk about cozy mysteries. It's a really cozy day today. It is Sunday. It's been raining all night, still sprinkling a little bit now, and I just finished listening to a cozy mystery, and when I finished it, I was like, I want to talk about this with someone. I want to talk about this book with someone, and I was like, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about this book with someone. So I am a cozy mystery lover, and lately I think I'm falling more in love with cozy mysteries because they're just not all like they used to be. If you've ever seen the TV show Murder She Wrote, I would consider that to be a cozy mystery where it's a small town, someone dies unexpectedly or someone is murdered. Now, all cozy mysteries are not murders. I'm thinking specifically about Dial A for Aunties. That someone dies in that book, but that wasn't a murder. Um, so I really have fallen in love with them. And as the world becomes a little bit more diverse, so are cozy mysteries, right? And I love a good traditional cozy mystery. I remember walking into the Cherokee Library, telling the librarian that I wanted to read, but I just didn't know what to read. Her eyes kind of lit up a little bit. She started asking me questions about myself, and she introduced me to Goldie. I don't remember Goldie's last name, but in the Culinary Mysteries by Diane Mott Davidson, I still remember reading Catering to Nobody for the first time and being so just like, oh my goodness, this lady is a caterer, there's murders, and she has to solve them. And there were recipes in the back of the book. And I specifically remember baking some of those, and I was like, I'm not a baker. I just didn't enjoy baking very much. But I remember trying those specific recipes and trying to make sure I got the recipe right because the book is set in Colorado at a really high altitude, and I live in Tennessee at a lower altitude. So I remember the book talking about be careful about your oven settings based on the altitude, and I had never heard that before. I just thought that never crossed my mind that you need to cook something at a different altitude depending on where you lived in the world. And like, listen, this was just like a whole world that opened up to me, and I was like, this is my thing. And since then, I felt like for years and years and years, if you read one cozy mystery, you read them all. But because I'm a cozy mystery lover, I'll just read the same book over and over again, which I won't do for any other books. But for cozy mysteries, it's just a comfort level there that comes from being little and watching Perry Mason and Murder She Wrote and Columbo and all those type of shows with my aunt, which would mostly be just like mysteries or murder mysteries. But I loved all that. So it's just embedded in me. So recently I have been discovering so many new cozy mysteries, and I want to tell you about 3 of them specifically that I've recently read. So I'm going to start with the first one first, and then we'll end with the one that I just finished today, which happened to be the first book in the series. So this is just my little notebook that I use to write down all of the books that I'm reading in this specific year. I feel like I'll definitely have enough pages for next year, but we'll see. I might just start a whole new notebook. This notebook is from Target. It's the Tabitha Brown collection with Target, and it just says, take care of yourself. I do have a teacup that matches this as well. In January, I listened to Magic Lies and Deadly Pies by Misha Pop. I could not believe, by the way, this doll are from Anika's Creative Closet. I have a few other of her stickers back here as well. She has a really cool, as you can see, this is my favorite one. I've used it so much. She has some really cool stickers in her shop for readers. I will link Anika in the description box below. She's just one of my favorite brands, and she does offer transparent stickers if that's your thing. So anyway, when I was listening to Magic Lies and Deadly Pies, I could not believe what I was listening to. This was a brand new cozy mystery series, and the protagonist name is Daisy, and she was actually the murderer. I was like, wait a minute. What? What? Oh, this is for me. She definitely reads like a feminist because in the book, one thing about cozy mysteries that can be irritating if it goes on too long is the love triangle. I just don't feel like that is necessary at all. Why y'all don't do? Stop doing it. Let the people just be with it. Okay, no tangents. No tangents. All love. She was in a love triangle with the woman and with the man. By love triangle, I mean there was interest. There was nothing but interest from the parties involved. And so it did feel a little bit disjointed because there was, I guess things are sexually fluid now. And so I didn't feel like that was a necessary part of the book, but I still loved all the characters and I loved the book. So Daisy has magic. Her grandmother and her mother had magic and they passed it on down to her. The magic is in different ways. I think it was her grandmother that was a seamstress, and so when people come to her to have such special clothes made, she could sew her intention and goodwill into it for the wearer. Okay, the person who's wearing it. So her mom was a hairdresser, and say for instance, you know how you kind of make your confessions to your hairstylist. Say for instance, she was doing someone's hair that may have been a battered wife, then she could while she was doing their hair, she could infuse self-love, protection, a strong will. Like they would end up like leaving their abuser after that. So Daisy's a baker, and so she can bake intention into her pies. But Daisy took it a one step further than her family. Daisy is very much a TV character type of person where she dresses in very fluffy dresses. Her hair is done a certain way. She will remind you of a 1950s housewife. And she bakes pies in a little camper that sits behind a restaurant that lets her sell her pies there. But in order to reach bad men specifically, she will not kill women. She has standards about her murdering. She dresses in grunge, takes her makeup off, does her makeup dark, wears a hood and all black, totally separate from her daytime personality, and go to like support groups like women who are battered and things like that, or who may be experiencing problems at work, like any woman who's having a problem with a bad man. Now, she meets these people and she has like this anonymous way that they can reach her, or she'll give them a card and say that I think I can help you. I think I can help you. Or whenever she does a murder for someone, she'll tell them just to pass it on to someone who may need my services. But this is all underground, right? So the book opens up with her very much in her daytime dress, and she goes, and at this time you don't know what's going on, and then she takes this guy his pie and she watches him eat it, and he's like saying inappropriate things to her, and she's just like kind of smiling, and then he dies and she takes the pie away and she leaves. But because there is no poison, it's only intention that she fuses into these people when they die. There is no evidence that she was ever there. There is no actual powder, there's no actual sprinkles, there's no actual anything. Is that if their intention is to be a bad person, then this magic helps them leave Earth. She doesn't have to infuse death. She can infuse anything she wants, which is what I learned in the second book, which is A Good Day to Pie. She's also an excellent baker. So in the first book, she enters a pie competition and she ends up winning it, and she's just well known all over town. And then that brings her to the second book, which she is now in an actual television show food competition. It's called, I think, Bake My Day. You know how they have all these little competitions and stuff on TV. And so that is what she's in now. She has a sidekick now, which she doesn't like. She's never worked with another person before, but the woman that she was interested in her in the first book got way involved and learned about her secrets, and is now like, we could really get some stuff done in the world by finding you more like customers, so to speak. So she has a little sidekick now, and she's received the name of someone. And when she's at the cooking competition, the name that she received happens to be one of the judges. So now she's terrified to murder him because it may be traced back to her in some way. I listened to the second book and I enjoyed it. And that's when I learned that it's just her intention. The person doesn't have to die, because she was trying to fish the murderer out, and she infused in him where he would be so cocky that he would confess, like it would come out, and he was almost like belligerent about it. And I was like, this is interesting. And she had to be very, one of the things I loved about it is because she has to be very careful, because the cameras were on her. Like, every contestant was assigned a camera. So she had to be careful about her facial expressions. She had to be careful about her hand, but she still had to infuse different things that she really wanted. And one of her desserts that she infused truth in got a little wild. It got a little wild. So that really made the book so good for me. I really like this series by Misha Pop. It is only the second book in the series. I don't exactly remember the series name. So like Cozy Mysteries all have a series name, right? So you have the Books and Biscuit series by Abby Collette. That's about two twins. Then you have a bake shop mystery, or you may have a tea shop mystery. So they always have like a series title, so you can kind of figure out what is in that particular series as you're going by and looking for more books. Okay, so that I like I said, I'll put that at the bottom of the screen because I don't remember the title of that series. Okay, so now I do want to talk about a series that I enjoyed so unexpectedly that I wanted to create a dedicated page to it in my notebook, because I wanted to really make sure I continued on with this series. Because like I said, the first Cozy Mystery I just talked about with Daisy was more of like a feminist type of Cozy Mystery where the protagonist was the actual murderer. That was very different for Cozy Mystery, y'all. They are, and also in that specific series, there are all types of people, all races of people, where in Cozy Mysteries are predominantly white. You're not gonna find, that's all you was getting at first. Like, you weren't gonna find anybody else unless it was like the housekeeper or the school teacher or the lady who comes by and cooks for us. It was very much any black or brown person was in a servant role, which is what America used to be. So therefore, that's what all the Cozy Mysteries were like. But like I said, now everybody writing these things, and they is really good. So this page is dedicated, this page is dedicated to the Gethsemane Brown mysteries. I wanted to write all of the books out in order. I like to read Cozy Mysteries in order because you actually get to grow with the character. So the Gethsemane Brown mysteries is about a black female orchestra. Is she a maestra? I think she's a maestra. She's a maestra. So a black female maestra. and she's an orchestra player. Her father introduced her to orchestra, took her to her first orchestra when she was a little girl, and I think he also was a player as well. I don't remember what he played, but she loves it so much till she grew up and became a maestra. And her name is Gethsemane Brown. The first book does tell you where she gets her name from, and so she is just black. She's black. I'm gonna tell you why I love this. Okay, I love this one specifically. She definitely grew up in America, United States. She got a great job opportunity from a guy that she was sleeping with, and she goes to play for him and finds out that he's with someone else, and she feels disgraced. She's really upset, so she takes the first job outside of where he is as possible, and it lands her in Dunmalak, Ireland. What? I was like, wait, this is so cool, right? So she's now an expat and she's living in Ireland. She gets there and her luggage is missing, and she goes to this cottage, and she walks into this cottage and it hasn't been used in a really long time, and she kind of smells something. But when the man who is running the cottage comes in to like show her everything, she was like, what is that smell? And he was like, I don't smell anything. What? She was like, it smells like this and this. And he was like, no, I don't smell anything. And she was like, okay. And so she goes on, and then a little bit later, a ghost materializes. Yo, I was like, wait, there's a ghost in this book? Y'all know I don't read synopsis, but this excited me. I don't know why. I'm not big into like ghosts and witches, and I'm not big into Halloween. I like it to decorate, but I'm not big into it. But I don't know why this got me so excited about this book. It's like, I did not see this coming. Well, of course, only very few people can see the ghost. And so the ghost actually is a really well-known, famous Irish maestro. So they have this in common, right? And she can see him, and he cannot cross over because he can't find his wife. The wife had been murdered, and everybody thought he was the murderer, but then he ended up dead too. And it has been years and years and years, and she can see him and hear him, but some other people can see him but not hear him, and then some other people can hear him but not see him. And he wants her to solve his wife's murder so that he can find his wife. He's like, he feels like he can't get his wife because he knows she's out there and he can't go be with her, and he just wants to be with her because his wife was the absolute love of his life. There is absolutely no way he killed this woman. So she was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm here in this whole nother country, and she is the maestra at the school. And is it an all-boys school? I think it's an all-boys school. I'm not positive, but I think it is. And like, these boys are in bunches, but they need to enter into a competition, and she has to get them ready in a certain number of weeks in order to kind of keep her job. And there's a benefactor there who wants to give money to the school, but only if she can win this big competition. And so she has a lot going on, and she really ain't got time for this murder, but something about it, something that someone says, intrigues her. So she starts investigating this murder. But what I like about her is that she's not making the police out to be stupid or dumb, right? That's one thing in cozy mysteries that's really weird to me, how they are just like, these police can never solve a crime at all. Well, police actually do solve crimes. Not all of them, but they do. So this is such a good book because there is so much going on, and the person that did the crime, you kind of see coming, but you kind of don't at the same time. And then at the end of the first book, oh gosh, I was so upset in a good way, like what? Like that type of upset, to the point where I was like looking on Google and I was, what is the next book in this series? And that's why I had to write it down, because these have to be read in order, and I'm listening to these, right? So I listened to the first one. Listen, The narrator of this first book was incredible. She did American, British, Irish accent without skipping a beat. You always knew which character she was speaking from. Yo, this narrator, I was like, where's her Oscar? Are they not giving, what kind of awards did the narrators get? Are they giving out Oscars? Because this lady did that, okay? It was so good. So after I finished the first one, I was like, oh my goodness. What happened? What happened with the ghost? So I immediately went to the library and looked on my Libby to see if the second was available, and then the narrator started talking. I was like, who is this? Who is this? We can't listen to this one. We got to read this one. We got to read the next one because they done messed up my narrators. I cannot listen to that other person because the first one was too freaking good. If you get to listen to this, tell me what you think about the narrator. I need to know because, oh my goodness, she knocked it out of the park. It was so good. So I haven't picked up Death in D minor yet. I actually need to look on KU and see if it's available. If it is, then I need to be reading it. I haven't went to the library. You know what? It's Sunday. I need to pick a book for next week. We're going to find Death in D minor, either the library or on KU, because I can't listen to it. We will not listen to it. So, The Gethsemane Brown Mysteries is another cozy mystery series that I am just so in love with. And like I said, this is just this, I've only listened to the first book, so we'll read this next one. And so this is new to me, but I love it so much. I wanted to talk about it. I hadn't had a chance to talk about it with nobody yet. So the third series that once again, so these are my books for July. Here are my audio books and here are my physical books. We ain't doing great for the month of July, but anyway. I love this picture. How gorgeous that little sticker is so freaking cute. So Death Overdue by Allison Brooke is a library mystery series, I think. Once again, I'll put it across the screen for you here because I don't exactly remember the series, but I'm definitely listening to this in order, and this is the first one. Editing Tracy here. I love when YouTubers say that. I cannot believe I didn't talk about the ghost in this book. There is a whole ghost in this book, and the main character, what's her name, Carrie, is the only person that can see the ghost, and also Carrie's little cousin Tracy can also see the ghost, and they're the only two people that can see her. And the ghost plays such a huge important role in the book, along with the family dynamic of the murdered woman. There's also the family dynamic that Carrie is dealing with as well. So we'll talk about more. You'll see more of that. Real Tracy. I'm doing more of that. But yes, this is the Haunted Library series. And there's also a ghost in this one. It took me by surprise because, like I said, I didn't read the series title, and I absolutely loved it for that reason, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you about it when I finished reading it. But I forgot about the ghost. Okay, back to the video. Carrie Singleton is the main character in this. She has had a very troubled life. Her father is a thief, and he was always in and out of the family lives. Her brother ended up being killed in a car accident. Her mom is kind of like fly by night, loves Carrie but doesn't necessarily want her around. She has a new man in her life, and so Carrie has grown up her entire life very dysfunctional, except for she would go sometime in the summers to Clover Ridge where some of her family is. And so now she's at the point in her life where she has been in Clover Ridge living with her aunt and uncle for a while, and she's ready to now leave Clover Ridge. She's also really a goth girl. Like, she has her hair different every few days. Like, if the book starts off her hair in purple, and she's thinking about dyeing it a whole nother color. She dresses in grunge, and she really doesn't fit in this small town. But she has a job at the library that she really doesn't care about. And so I guess her uncle can sense that she's getting antsy, and he's very influential in the town, and he's on the library board. So he talks the head librarian into giving her a promotion because they have another lady that's about to leave. And so she was like, hey, you can make her over programs and education, I think it is, P&E. And so Carrie's called in. She's offered the job, and she knows right away her uncle has something to do with it because the main librarian named Sally really doesn't like her. And so there's so much little politics going on in the library, and such a weird thing. But there is the previous person over P&E has put into, she has a program that's already coming up, but this program is, they're trying to figure out if they're actually going to have it or not, because it's a retired police officer from the local police force that wants to come and talk about the murder of a 15-year-old murder of one of the previous library employees. And he was like an alcoholic. He had some troubles in his life, and he had a real hard time, became an alcoholic. His family left, and everybody said that he didn't do the case right. They felt like the case would have been wrapped up had he not been this troubled person. And so this is kind of the case that's always eluded him, right? This is the case he could never solve. So he comes and he says he has new information. So a bunch of people in town, the dead woman's family shows up, the dead woman's best friend shows up, the whole town shows up, and the head librarian Sally was like, I think we should cancel it. But Carrie is like, no, I don't want to cancel it. We want to go ahead and do it. And so then he gets up there and he starts talking. There's so much tension in the air, right? And he starts talking, and he's eating the refreshments, and he asks people if they have something they want to say, and people are like kind of start getting up talking about the dead woman, like what they knew about her, what they miss about her. And then the best friend gets up and says that she was planning on leaving her husband. And everybody was like, why would you say that? How are you going to be her best friend and say that? I thought she was having an affair. Wait, why are you saying this in public? You ain't never said this before, but you saying it now in public? And I was like, ooh, not the tea in a cozy mystery. The tea? It was hot. It was hot. And so I was like, okay, keep listening on that. This is getting good. Okay, so then the cop who's saying all this stuff, he ends up dead, and his iPad is missing. This cozy mystery I wanted to talk about, like I said, it's Sunday morning, and I finished it probably like 2 hours ago. I want to talk about it because the family dysfunction in this book has I was like, them children is really screwed up. Them children is a mess. Why did somebody need to kick his behind? What? Yo, the family dysfunction in this book was so good. This book was so long, you guys. This audiobook was 9 hours. That's unusual for a cozy mystery. I was like, what is this cozy mystery got to talk about for 9 hours? That's one of the reasons I wanted to listen to it, because I'm like, what is y'all talking about for 9 hours in this cozy mystery? Well, it was good. There were obviously some filler pages, but not as many as you would think. I don't know how many pages this physical book is, but I was immediately like, I have to listen to this whole series. This is a new cozy mystery. I need to create a page of, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna create a page in here of cozy mystery series that I've started and want to continue. There's gonna be about like 4 or 5 pages. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna have to order some more stickers from Anika. I need some more stickers. I'm just gonna order some more stickers because it's gonna be a very long list. This one was good to me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. First of all, have I told y'all who wrote any of these books? And did I make sure it was very clear these are all audiobooks for me? Okay. The Pie series is by Misha Pop. Gethsemane Brown is by Alexa Gordon. This library mystery series, I think the name of it, is by Allison Brooks. I don't know if I said all that. We got to give these authors their props because they did that. And shout out to librarians. But anyway, I just really wanted to talk about these 3 books that I've recently kind of found and discovered this year, with it being just this, like, the 7th month in the year. I wanted to talk about them now because I'm so excited about them, and I don't know if you've heard about them. If you're a cozy mystery lover, do you have any cozy mystery series that you love and that you just can't stop talking about? And why cozy mysteries getting so good? Tell me everything you want to talk about in the description, not description box, in the comment section below. I will link all of these in the description box. If you guys have Goodreads, follow me on there. I am very inconsistent. If you want to follow someone very inconsistent, I will link, it'll be linked in the description box below. I have not put up, I don't even think I've done any reviews for July. I don't remember. If I have, I may have, but today, since it's still raining and I can't go to the grocery store yet, I will go ahead and take some time and update my Goodreads because I am in love with all of the books that I have come across recently, and I'm just having so much fun with books again. I had been in a reading slump for a while, but I feel like I'm definitely out of it because I'm like, I can't wait to the next one, can't wait to the next one, can't wait to the next one, and I just can't stop talking about the books that I'm having so much fun with. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I appreciate you for listening to me babble about books. Oh, that's a good title for a series. Babbling about books. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, beautiful.